Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Antillean Group, Country Cold Store.
Self-isolation is not a prison sentence, but it's the safest way to protect the people around you from possibly getting sick. Continue to comfortably buy your groceries and whatever you need, even when in quarantine. Use Coop Bank's e-banking to transfer funds to a close friend or family member's account and get them to do your shopping for you. Log on to www.grenadacoopbank.com and sign up for Coop Bank's e-banking.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Coop Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to send money to friends or family. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home. Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we get, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
You are offered a wonderful opportunity to win a grocery coupon to the tune of EC $250, redeemable at any of the food fairs. All you've got to do to qualify is like, share, comment, and follow EDDIE-FICATION on any of our social media platforms. This promotion continues for all of April with one draw on Friday, April 29th. The winner will be announced immediately after advising the said winner. Any overseas winner is asked to kindly transfer their winning to a relative or friend who lives in the state of Grenada. I am extending an open invitation to any individual or company tuned in to come on board and assist with our drive to whip up an interest in getting more of our young people to pull up their chair and pay attention to the instructive thoughts and ideas shared on this program as we seek to edify them to make better decisions that would help to shape a better future for themselves and the future security of the nation as a whole. Join me in bringing excitement to our audience with a chance to win something that can brighten their corner in these challenging times. Reach out and touch someone as regularly as you can afford. Of course, due recognition will be given to you for your active partnership in this regard. Thanks in advance.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, folks, I'd like to say welcome to my 71st Independent Live session and 17th for 2022 as we continue to send good vibes into the universe in preparation for all the positive vibes that we crave in spite of our many challenges. And God knows we have many challenges. We have continued good news for you. Of course, if you are having any trouble viewing and being able to comment live while on Facebook, visit my YouTube page, Eddie or Edward Frederick, or even EDDIE-FICATION, and you are sure to be able to view and share this and any future live programs. You can even make sure that you make your comments, like, follow, subscribe. There is always a way around direct or indirect sabotage, and we found one. Really happy that this live and any future live going forward, of course, can now be viewed simultaneously on YouTube. So spread the word, making it easily accessible to each and every one of you. A big thank you to all of you for tuning in once more. Welcome to the newcomers to Edification, or 112th edition, which is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank, Antillean Group, and Country Cold Store, all local giants in their own right, each of which started with humility and are today enjoying a great measure of exaltation by God's grace. Our topic today: down is not your destiny. You are called to rise to high expectations. We are all born, folks, to stand out, not to fit in. God did not give us 7 different days in each week so that we can proceed to live any one of them twice. We are meant to grow through life and not go through life. A sign of true growth is when you can see something on social media that you do not agree with and you can keep scrolling, as against getting bent out of shape and become mired in mawet. Confusion is a time robber that prevents real and genuine growth. Down will always be your destiny if you continue to rise to low expectations, for you cannot reach your destination in a timely manner if you stop to throw stones at every dog that barks at you. As I continue to mention to you folks, if you desire to become a winner of our $250 gift certificate for groceries redeemable at any of the food fairs, you're required to share, comment, follow, subscribe, and like Edification. Your name can be in the first 3 drawn each week, which will be put in the final draw on Tuesday, May 31st. You are required to continue to share, comment, follow, and like Edification, whether you look at it live or after the fact. In the case of this April draw, that will be done tomorrow. So the information I just gave you there is really pertaining to the month of May. Young people, pull up your chair and become edified so that you can wake up and finally realize that politics, funny enough, concerns you too, as it determines whether you prosper or suffer. Deprivation and lack will continue to be your lot if you continue to absent yourselves from the process. I remind you, bad politicians are usually elected by good citizens who do not vote. Don't be among the good citizens who continue to say, "It's a good thing I don't vote." Your abstention is a vote for what you may not want and end up getting, which is not good for you and other generations to come. Remember, 2 generations of you have already been relegated to the back from 1995 to the present. Pull up your chair and pay close attention and go spread the word among your peers that you have been involved and you must be involved. Come on, tell them you've got to be involved, because down is not your destiny. You are called to rise to high expectations. So folks, continue to share the live, and let's get some more people on board, and let's just take a little come upon here, and then we'll come right back to this wonderful sharing here this evening.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative, Bank Limited, Antillean Group, Country Cold Store.
Self-isolation is not a prison sentence, but it's the safest way to protect the people around you from possibly getting sick. Continue to comfortably buy your groceries and whatever you need, even when in quarantine. Use Coop Bank's e-banking to transfer funds to a close friend or family member's account and get them to do your shopping for you. Log on to www.grenadacoopbank.com and sign up for Coop Bank's e-banking.
I want the best for my family.
Okay, folks. So we come back to that a little later on, because that's really the wrong station, program ID that I triggered there, but it's all part of the excitement. I want to say welcome back to this program, folks, and thanks to all of you who are on the live. As I urge you, continue to share the live so that we can, edify as many more people as possible. Interestingly, down is not your destiny, folks. And we need to start to sort of believe that down is not where you belong. We were born to grow up. Fellow Grenadians, when we're in a difficult time, it is easy to feel like the prophet Micah in the Bible. Many of you love to quote unquote. He gave a list of negative things that happened to him: bad breaks, lack, injustice, betrayal. It was very depressing. But in the scripture, he went on to say that he wasn't giving up. He may have been knocked down, but in the middle of the difficulty, he was speaking victory. He was saying, this problem did not come to stay. It came to pass. God being for me is more than the world being against me. I will arise. Folks, things may be coming against you, but know this. The God we serve didn't create each and every one of us to be overcome. He created us to be overcomers. Down is not your destiny, folks, and defeat is not how your story ends. If you're going to come out of your challenges, you have to stop talking defeat. If you have to break the yoke of this national effort to keep you poor and destitute, you have to focus on the promise of being delivered from it. Quit giving the power to your oppressors to keep you down. When you declare, I will arise, forces of darkness tremble and angels go to work. Get ready to rise now. I want each and every one of you tuned in here now, and whenever you so choose, that change cannot be wished into reality. Change takes effort, consciousness, and the will to make all necessary adjustments in order to come out with a different and desirable result. We have recently had 2 demonstrations of addresses to the nation. One from an accustomed, visibly tired, exhausted, and faded presenter, and the other from a fresh, spanking new talent that inspires new hope. One pregnant with gimmicks and same old, and the other strategically delivered as a precursor to details to come over time. One represented the dark past of the period 1995 to the present, where 2 generations of our nation's youth have been destroyed and thus banished to the dustbin of civilization for the most part. We are seeing meetings being held by the 2 parties in the modern style of the fun and frolic, one interspersed with substance and the other with stimulation aimed at the baser instincts of their supporters. We have seen and heard Freudian slips, which are usually in the heat of the moment on the campaign trail. I'm not going to be one to criticize any of the slippers, especially as this is to be expected from anyone who switches allegiance from one party to another. Apart from that, the heavy concentration on the vitriol one may feel for one party over another, while on the campaign trail, that is, party names can be mixed up in deliveries. Come on, folks, that's to be expected. I am not making a mountain out of a molehill at all. In fact, that is, to me, majoring in minor. That having been said, though, as a word of total understanding in that regard, I cannot for the life of me understand what took place
with the incumbent representative for St. Patrick East, when she plainly would state, quote, "I am counting on you. I am counting on you to put the new National Party back into this government so that we can continue to suffer." That one to me is totally different. How do we analyze this? Of course, with the lack of proper analysts here in Grenada, we are left on our own to conclude divine intervention, perhaps. Divine intervention, perhaps. And there could very well be something in that, because the speaker's tongue seemed totally tied up. Even when this major slip was cut, it became extremely difficult, as could have been seen in the struggle to find a way to correct it. Some tying up of the tongue and moving it miles away from the brain seemed to have taken place there. Anyone with a modicum of appreciation for the aftermath from within could only imagine the wrath that may have been poured all over this poor woman. Be that as it very well may, this campaign is really shaping up to be interesting. Save and except for the issue of the public servants' reinstated pension as ordered by the Supreme Court, the only issue here on the campaign trail seemed to have been fed-upness of Grenadians with the old geezer of a leader who many would like to see the back of. Could you imagine many people not wanting to hear about improvement in healthcare for all, improvement in education, accountability and transparency in the conduct of people's business, and discussion on real issues, but just telling you wherever you pass, "We have had enough of this lot and their leader. They must go," in a fed-up state? That is truly sad, folks. In many quarters, we can hear disparaging comments, many of which are grounded in the fact, based on experience in connection with the wanton and perpetual lies, blatant nepotism, the starving out of people who are known to not support the sitting administration, and spending all the proceeds of the national revenues only in the direction of supporters of the party in office, the poor manner in which the leader converses with his inner tribe, not to mention the nation, who might be tuned in otherwise when he speaks on public occasions. Oh Lord, no wonder the high level of unbridled disrespect meted out to members of the sitting administration, individually and collectively. I once heard someone say, "You cannot respect disrespect." And our Grenadian situation from 1995 to the present brought that to the fore. Folks, in a bad way, One person called me very recently to advise that they are still undecided up to this point and may very well not vote at all. It is good citizens like those who, by not voting, directly elect bad politicians to manage our affairs. If this person and others like them, and I say them because I don't think the sex of the person is important, so I will say them, can identify good paying jobs, better healthcare, lower cost transportation, improved education, and better opportunities for children over the past 10 years, and I might add, since 1995, then I would leave them alone to go down the road of not voting. Of course, after delivering my sermon today through my 10th edition of Take Election Seriously, I was called back by that same person to be told that I have them thinking differently, as my arguments presented were very strong. I give God the praise for that. I really don't care who anyone votes for. I will never tell people don't vote for this one and don't vote for that one. I will tell you what to vote against. Isn't that interesting? I ain't telling you who to vote for, but I will tell you what to vote against. Vote against things that are against you. I really, as I said, don't care who anyone votes for, as long as they do not spit in the faces of our ancestors who fought and secured this right for them, which was only reserved for a few propertied citizens before 1951, before 1951. It was Theophilus Albert Marischal who actually started the fight with the British Crown in 1919, just after World War I. And after 36 full years of back and forth, was able to secure adult suffrage for every Grenadian citizen over the age of 21 to be able to vote and decide who is elected to the Legislative Council, as it was called back then. As I have already told you in a previous history-focused expose, it was Eric Matthew Gary, young, elegantly dashing politician, who arrived on the scene and was able to become the biggest beneficiary of Marischal's hard work, and thus was born his mass leader status as the hero of the working class. As of this hard work and strife, all of it, and many of us today want to sit back and take this for granted, folks, joke you're making. As long as I have breath in me and I could move, it is my responsibility to share these historical facts through this medium and otherwise, wherever the opportunity presents itself, with the hope that you repeat it often enough, it will stick. We have to spread these truths of a deep-seated historical nature to help inform the decisions of our younger generations, especially. I recall in the aftermath of the crash of the revolution, when Sir Eric returned to Grenada on the 21st of January 1984, in one-on-one with him, I recall he did indicate to me that for one to be successful in politics, it all depends on timing. I have never forgotten that to this day. In fact, he went further to support this statement with his own experience when he wrestled all from T.A. Marischal after he had completed all the heavy lifting and the British Crown granted adult suffrage to Grenadians in 1951. To see us take this right today and reduce it to a mere pedestrian transaction, oh Jesus, it is sad. Our ancestors must be awakened in annoyance. No wonder many of us continue to not be able to see our way. A curse must hover richly in, around, and over this island. We need to change that, folks. When we take what others fight hard for and squander it, we are bound to become residents in the law of bad attraction. As I told you already, down is not our destiny, for we are called to rise to higher expectations. Let's take another come up on say, and then when we come back, we continue because we have quite a bit of turkeys to fry here this evening.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative, Bank Limited, Antillean Group, Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Lovely. I want to just hail up some of the people who are, joining us. It's my way of, recognizing you and saying thanks to you. Akim, Camille, Jalian, of course, Joseph, Doris, Dels, my dear, Ambika, Rocky, Natasha, Michael, dearest Michael, Eugene, Colin. Who else do we have? Lids. Good night to you, my dear. Patty, Sam, Antha, Suzanne. Who else? And Chris. That's from one particular medium, because as you rightfully recognize, we are now on both my Facebook pages and YouTube. So we also have here on the one inside that I'm actually working on here. We have, let's see who we have here. Rachel, Winsome, Charmaine, Donna, Glynis, Irva, Maria, Samantha, Yvette, Celison, Silvani, Augustine, Bree, who else? Hillary, Sawandi, my dear friend, Anne-Marie, Maria, Jennifer, Sira, that's a nice name, Enid, my dear, Anne, Judith, Donna, who else? I think I said Donna before. This looks like it. Another Arthur here, Jerry, Madeline, Alice, Kendra, Juan. Who else do we have? It's lovely to have all of you folks. Merrill, Stevenson, I have a Jillian, and an Allison. Thank you very much for joining. Continue to share the live so that we can get more people, because usually there's always something in whatever I share for somebody, but it crescendos, as you can understand. And we are likely to be, hitting a good little crest here now. So it's important for us to keep the thing going, keep the people plugged in, and of course, keep your comments coming, because it's quite interesting to have your interactions as we go along. So folks, welcome back. If down is not our destiny, and it is true that we are all called to rise to high expectations, we need to find reason in believing for more. Our people settle for scraps. We settle for too little. We seem to be happy at the thought that is how it is and that's how it's supposed to be. No! What about the people who were in your position at some point in time when they are no longer in that position today? You think it's just magic? You think it's obia? No! They made up their minds one day. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of this status in life. And they put their shoulders to the wheel. Folks, we can do it. What about the multitude of us who were born in abject poverty? And today we are not rich, but we're not in abject poverty. Well, how did that happen? You think we prayed our way out of it? No, because prayers work. Prayers move mountains. But you hear what they tell us? God helps those who help themselves. So we say prayer without works ain't nothing. Prayer without works is a word salad. Prayers condition your mind to get yourself in gear to move forward. Prayers and sitting down, joke you making, you better go and work some obia instead. Because nothing will happen Prayers without works is futile. We need to find reason in believing for more. Stop talking God and instead live in God, imbued with an indomitable spirit that infuses your actions with all the ingredients of a strong-willed citizen that will not surrender to mere transactions of others. You, ardent followers of my sharing, must recall me telling you that enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, with theos meaning God. This therefore suggests strongly that when one is enthusiastic, he is in God. The crucifixion and resurrection Easter weekend was recently observed. And the many of us who love to say this is a Christian society seem to have forgotten what the weekend was about. It was fed for so. Having come back from the grueling 2-year period of stress and strain of this pandemic, one would have thought we would have been a little less inclined to give prominence to revelry as against immersing ourselves in deep reflection as to how we should proceed going forward. After all, we see how easy it is to croak and be forgotten, and a lot of Grenadians are forgettable. And yet for all, we continue as usual, not making any amends to our ways so that the post-COVID period could be truly spent as one of substance, steeped in a new level of consciousness never before experienced. Goodly folks, we serve the God who created the universe. Never settle for a small view of God. That God wants to do big things and new things in our lives. We have to first change our perspective. God wants to be constantly increasing and growing. That's what he wants us to do. Increase and grow. Rising to higher heights each day. He wants to increase you in wisdom so that you can make better decisions. He wants to increase you financially by giving you promotions, fresh ideas, and creative juices. He wants to pour out his far and beyond favor, according to Ephesians 2:7. But you have to change. You have to stop rejecting the people he is sending to lead you to your own promised land of genuine plenty. Not fake plenty, genuine plenty. Because the fake plenty only comes every 5 years. Bramble and transactions. Wood, cement, galvanize, rubbish, and you fall in for that. But you see, the genuine plenty is plenty peace, plenty shelter from lies and conmanship, plenty prosperity in real and desirable measure. Yet the question is asked, do you not perceive it? In other words, are you making room for it in your thinking? It is high time to enlarge your vision, to live the best life you can now. You must learn to look at life through eyes of faith, seeing yourself rising to new levels in spite of your challenges. See your business taking off. See your relationships that you still have an interest in restored. See your family prospering. You must conceive it to believe it. Conceive it to believe it as being possible if you ever hope to experience it. Friends, goodly folks, if you will shake off the blahs of life, your addiction to appear to be in control, and get in agreement with the master, this can be the greatest season of your life. With the master on your side, you cannot possibly lose. A way can be made when it looks like there is no way. Doors can open that no man can shut. Your life can supernaturally turn around, folks. You have to do your part. Get rid of small-minded thinking and start to think as God thinks. Think big. Think increase and growth. Think abundance. Think more than enough. Your own wrong thinking can continue to keep you from God's best. And that is why I invite you to transform your thinking. We have to first face the reality that we have allowed our thoughts to run in a negative pattern for much too long. It is as though they have been eroding a deep riverbed, and the negativity can flow in only one direction. With every pessimistic thought, folks, the riverbed is a bit deeper and the current stronger. It is possible to program your mind into a negative thinking pattern and put it on jam. Or we want to unjam it here tonight. Fortunately, we can cause a new river to flow, one going in a positive direction. When we dwell on the Master's word and start seeing the best in situations, little by little, one thought at a time, you are redirecting the flow of that river. It may not look like much at first, but as you continue to reject negative thoughts and redirect the flow, as you choose faith instead of fear, expecting good things and taking control of your thought life, that negative stream will dwindle and the positive river will flow with positive faith-filled thoughts of victory. There are many of you looking for change. You're yearning for change and you're just wishing for change. Well, guess what? Change will not come by wishing. You have to do a lot of adjustments, folks. You have to redirect yourselves. And if you don't redirect yourself, as the Jamaicans say, dog, nyam, your supper. Goodly folks, you need to stop allowing negative critical thoughts to influence your life. You want a certain outcome. Stop falling for distractions on the way to achieving this outcome. Stop stopping to stone every dog that barks at you on your journey. Keep focused. Keep moving forward, in other words. You need to stop associating with people who spew such negative thoughts. Close them out. You need to stop allowing self-seeking so-called friends and associates or people whom you support in whatever organization that you may be a part of from continuing to take advantage of you. Excuse yourself. The Bible tells us to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Yes, that same Bible that many of you insist on toting and quoting as you continue to pose as religious people and even Christians. A lot of you so religious you forget to be Christians. Please keep in mind though, that river of negativity wasn't formed overnight. Nor will it be redirected without some conscious, strenuous effort on your part. God will help all of us, but we need to stay full of faith, stay full of joy, stay full of hope. If you will transform your thinking, the Master will transform your life. Then and only then can you affirm, I am a new river flowing. I am a new river flowing. Isn't that a beautiful affirmation? You say it, you say it, you say it, and then you speak it into life. For this new river to flow, a lot of associations you have forged over the years who are very negatively influential over you have got to go. You got to cut that umbilical cord. Set them free. You have to change lots of the associations that are weighing you down currently. Grenada has become right now a factory for negative people, a factory for losers, a factory for groaners, moaners, a factory for forgettable people. Who would have ever thought we would live long enough to see that? Examine your relationships, folks, and see what benefits they have brought to you. If when you examine them, all you find is turmoil and heartaches, let them go. It does not have to be an angry parting either. Find a way to let the relationship fade away. Considering that these relationships have been keeping you down, you need to recall that down is not our destiny, for we are called to rise to high expectations. I really don't think we need a rocket scientist to explain that to us. Down is just not our destiny. We're supposed to grow through life, not stay as though we have epoxy under our foot and we just stay in there. No! We're supposed to grow through life. Every day, we are supposed to be accumulating more wisdom, more knowledge, more understanding. Not more wealth, not more transactions, not more wood, cement, galvanized, microwave, and favors. Rubbish. We are supposed to be growing through life, not going through life or just standing still. You see, folks, a lot of you behave as if you're afraid that you might one day die, but you have no control over that, folks. You have absolutely no control over that. We all have to. But when the end comes for you, it should not meet you sliding down an old mountain. Instead, it should meet you climbing a new. I always remember this George Burns, the 95-year-old fellow, I think he died at 99 or something like that, who at that age, 95, signed a 10-year contract with 20th Century Fox. And everybody, what did that man? Oh, you don't relax. That's what you would have done. You would have relaxed if you were his age, but he was still alive. And there was a loud message there. As long as he has life, he's keep on ticking. He keeps moving forward. One entity in Grenada tell you, keep moving way. Keep moving to what? Keep moving to poverty. Because that's the only movement that's happening. Folks, let's move forward together. Study all your head. I have a little bit of expose that I'd like in my closing segment when I come back. And it is sad that some of our friends are attempting to take us for a ride. But I will say no more here. We'll take a little ID break, and when we come back, we'll build up on that, and then we will take our leave.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative, Bank Limited, Antillean Group, Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wunderbar, as the Germans would say, wonderful. So as I close off Edification 112, I want to continue to remind you of the several friends and associates, whether directly or indirectly in the United States, who during the 2016 presidential election refused after a while to show their political hand and ended up voting for Donald Trump. when they came out overtly in conversation, talking in his favor, and were castigated and rebuked for so doing, they closed down. They shut down completely. The noise in the market then went in the direction of Hillary Clinton. And to the majority in the US and most around the world, it was a foregone conclusion that Hillary Clinton would succeed as the first female president of the United States of America. That was not to be, as the noise in the market was definitely not consistent with the sale. And in as much as she won the popular vote, she lost the presidency to Donald Trump, who would move on to create much anxiety in the entire world. Folks, I always say, my favorite subject in school was history. And when Mr. E.R.L. Hines used to stand before his class of 73 students in 5B on the stage and tell of Napoleon, Francis Drake, Henry Morgan, and others, of course, he gave those stories life and made us visualize the setting, as he knew how to create an image with words. I recall him telling us about the Titanic, when the captain was reported to have said, "Oh, let her go through. She'll split it in two," in reference to the iceberg. That has been etched in my memory to this day, 50 odd years later. All of this to confirm that my break time, weekends, and vacation time were really not my favorite subjects when I went to school, as these times were to many people. I paid attention to something, especially when it was presented in a manner to hold my attention. And boy, did Mr. Hines, Mrs. Joyce Antwine, Arnold Puggy McIntyre, Brother Matthias, and of course George Brizan stand out among my teachers who held my attention. Mr. Hines, for fear of falling on the other side of his wrath. Mrs. Joyce Antwine, for my reading abilities today. Puggy McIntyre, for his spirited approach to O-level West Indian history. Brother Matthias, for the love I have today of literature. And George Brizan, for his valuable intervention as the great advanced level West Indian history teacher he was. Goodly folks, I am sure you are realizing that I truly have the memory of an elephant. As anyone listening to me who would have shared school bench with me at either or both school levels would find comfort in the reminders I may have presented to them here through this sharing. In the same way, I'm blessed with my fair share of wisdom and the spirit of discernment, which I thank God for daily. I can therefore tell you folks with authority that we have people around us similar to those who remained silent and ended up voting for Donald Trump in the US. We have similar people here who we may believe, or better put, we take for granted that they may never be supporting the current administration over the years, and whose very existence at the level they currently operate at may be built around the corrupt practices of what obtains since 1995. Such people know that the administration is sadly lacking in vision, people-centered strategies, trustworthiness, competency, and of course capacity to deliver at the level of the real and genuine government. That its leadership has made a career out of lying, that they are just not good for the country going forward, but they are not prepared to adjust their lives in the absence of the benefits they reap personally, notwithstanding. Some of these same people could very well be friends who deep down inside they want the change, but because they weigh their value with an even hand and they feel if they really support change, it could mean that what they enjoy now could change. They hide behind the secret ballot culture of our democracy. Such people say to our faces one thing, and when in the privacy of the ballot box, they do what benefits them personally. What they say to us is basically to appease us and to massage the friendship, while they do something else that keeps the entire nation in a downward spiral, just because they are not prepared to mess up their personal apple cart. Such people are parasites and pests, and we all have them in our circles. Listen to them when they tell you, well, you know, I don't really follow politics, you know. I don't really follow it. There's the password. I don't really follow up with politics, you know. Some of them even go and call your name to their other friends with closer connections to the parasitic oligarchy and kleptocracy. If you want to know who they are, share this tonight, far and wide. And by their reaction to this particular declaration, you would know who they are. If you could do some editing, cut out only this piece and send it for them. And you'll hear what they will tell you. And you will know exactly who they are. Folks, the spirit of discernment I have been blessed with has me in the know of who the few of those would have been in my almost non-existent circle, because it's so small. Folks, it's sad. And when you look at, I lived in Old Fort for a few years, well, which was the top parapet, and I could have seen funerals. As I always say, you know, I had two reasons to be happy when I get up in the morning. I was above ground, above the cemetery. Two reasons to be enthusiastic about life and happy. Oh God, I made it. I made two. Every day I woke up there, I made two achievements. Above ground, above the cemetery. I never was checked into that lovely, what you call, resort that people only check into and they never check back out. Folks, we have to learn how to discern. You have to learn to listen for what people do not say. Some of you might be simplistically asking, well, how does one listen for what is not said? Just pay attention. You don't only listen with your ears, you know. Hello? We listen with our eyes as much as we listen with our ears. We have to learn to become discerning. But discernment comes with wisdom. Wisdom is fed by knowledge. Reading, Winsome is saying here, reading is also fundamental in order to change our mindset. And that is so true. Winsome, thanks for that. That's a beautiful pearl of wisdom there. Folks, changing coming by just wishing it, you know. The lolly drain has already been set in, you know. It has become a DNA product now, you know. We used to bung slow, but we dung in the drain now, you know. And it is sad. Sad when you hear the simplistic responses. We have people, there's nobody in Grenada that I consider a political analyst. They don't have the competency. They don't have the level to be so-called. I will never refer to anybody in Grenada as a political analyst, but I think we have a lot of political analysts. Plenty of them. And all they're talking is a pack of crap, nonsense, going around in circles. And all they're doing is stirring up the lolly drain. And they say they're analyzing. It's sad. Sad, sad, sad. Stirring up the lolly drain, and they call that analysis. It's really sad. We are in a bad way, folks. And when change finally comes in this country, it is going to come at a price. But we have a lot of these fake people who don't want their apple cart turned over. So they tell you the right thing. They're talking change to you in conversation. But even when you're walking away from them to leave, you could feel their body language saying, yeah, like, take that, man. Who's studying you with that? You could feel it. That's all that is part of discernment, folks. You could feel it because they're not genuine. And it is time we call them out. They know who they are. They're selfish to the bone. Oh, yes. And when they go in the box, when they're dead, they don't even realize it's half clothes they're going with. They have to cut the back of the dress. They have to cut the back of the jacket. They have to cut the pants and just pack it around them. They're not even going with whole clothes. Because rigor mortis set in. And they're not flexible anymore. And you can't raise up hand to put hand in shirt. You can't raise up. Hello? What is all of this for? All this. Folks, let me give you a pearl of wisdom here tonight. The older you get, the less you need. A lot of people who ain't get that message yet or get that memo. That is why they keep going and digging and going for more and going for more and going for more. And then what? Most of them, when they die, they leave confusion. They leave all their things in intestate because they never thought they were dead. They thought dying was for somebody else. They always think somebody else will dead, not me. Folks, pay attention. Prepare. Live good. Live good. Share whatever little you have. Share it. One mouth you have. You live alone and you have 2 sugar apple, give the neighbor 1. One mouth you have. Share. Be generous. Stop hoarding. And that's how things spoil. Because you hoard. You have this culture of you want to see a lot around you. Share. God will provide. Because he did promise he will take care of our needs. Not our wants. Our needs. Rain comes for this whole week. So far. Did you get wet? Something to be grateful for. That you had shelter. How many times you had soup for the week? Be thankful, man. At least you had a menu. How many times did you eat for the week? How many times did you think that, let me eat something to suit this weather? Hey, that's a luxury, folks. Be thankful. Be grateful. Give thanks. Because your needs are being met. Your children are okay. But you see, a lot of us can't think like that. We are material struck. We are transactional. Everything is a transaction. Let me see what is in it for me. Let me see what I could get. And all they're doing is treating Grenada like a prostitute, raping the country. And you docile majority sitting down there and becoming paupers and you will not pay attention, you will not take note, you will not wake up, what else is there to tell you? Folks, I think I have had my say here tonight. But as I reiterate here just before I leave, if you want to know who these people are, these pests, these parasites, these zombies, who are most times at our level, colleagues, they're supposed to be intelligent, but they're just greedy, they're licorice, they're gluttonous. Just share this far and wide. If you could do some editing, cut out this piece and share it. And when you get the long stoops in your tail, you're going to know who they are. What do we think he is? Guilt in the bumbo clout, according to the Jamaicans. Guilt in their tail. It's sad. Sad, sad, sad. And they dress up, they smell good too, drive nice car. But they're just parasites. According to my friend Carleen, in a recent post, a post as recent as today, when I saw it, I said, hey girl, gotta share that later. If you benefit from your own people living in poverty, then you would be outraged when someone aims to end that struggle culture. I'll repeat it. If you benefit from your own people living in poverty, then you would be outraged when someone aims to end that struggle culture. And that is why I say out loud and clear, bad politicians are elected to office by citizens who do not vote. Down is not your destiny, folks. You are called to rise to high expectations. I continue to ask each and every one of you to pray hard and fast for some redemption. Grenada needs it. I am aware that insecure people whose foundation is shifting are expected to use insults when they cannot make civilized arguments based on fact. I am even more so prepared for that now than any other time in my life. All I say to such people or elements, when you're coming, come good, as the dollars don't make noise, but the change does. I am in, I am out, I am gone. So, in conclusion, see you next week, God willing. Until next Thursday, stay safe, stay well, and remain lifted, please.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative, Bank Limited, Antillean Group, Country Cold Store.
Living with the pandemic hasn't been easy, but that does not mean that life has to fall apart. Work, play, and take care of your finances from home. Connect with friends on social media. Host Zoom meetings with colleagues and use Co-op Bank's e-banking to pay your bills and manage your funds. Log on to www.grenadacoopbank.com and sign up for Co-op Bank's e-banking.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to send money to friends or family. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home. Believe it our strength. We'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give. It's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
You are offered a wonderful opportunity to win a grocery coupon to the tune of $250, redeemable at any of the food fairs. All you've got to do to qualify is like, share, comment, and follow Edification on any of our social media platforms. This promotion continues for all of April with one draw on Friday, April 29th. The winner will be announced immediately after advising the said winner. Any overseas winner is asked to kindly transfer their winning to a relative or friend who lives in the state of Grenada. I am extending an open invitation to any individual or company tuned in to come on board and assist with our drive to whip up an interest in getting more of our young people to pull up their chair and pay attention to the instructive thoughts and ideas shared on this program as we seek to edify them to make better decisions that would help to shape a better future for themselves and the future security of the nation as a whole. Join me in bringing excitement to our audience with a chance to win something that can brighten their corner in these challenging times. Reach out and touch someone as regularly as you can afford. Of course, due recognition will be given to you for your active partnership in this regard. Thanks in advance.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.